Creepshow is a style that I've never seen before in my life. Five short but terrifying tales contained within a single full-length feature film. Released in November 12, 1982, and directed by George A. Romero, and the screenplay and the story, and also an actor, Stephen King, was in this movie. This was legendary. Also, the basic makeup and special effects of Tom Savini. We have legends here, ladies and gentlemen, legends. Stephen King and George A. Romero create five different shorts. First one being some type of angry father coming back from the grave for Father's Day. Very special, and not only that, I'm a big fan of zombie movies. The second one around Stephen King being some type of weird hillbilly Jim that goes around with a meteor that actually, anything that comes into contact with it, turns plant life all around, and it grows everywhere. And it makes it very terrifying. The third one is about Leslie Nielsen playing an angry, angry husband focused on destroying these characters' relationships. He buries the ex and the actual lover in like cement sand and drowns them to death with the tides, but they come back to life to show him a hard lesson. The next one was about some type of mysterious crate that has a monster inside, and my god, that monster looks scary. And then the final one is not my favorite. It's just a guy who has his ass handed to him by cockroaches. Yeah, I don't like this one better, but the others are fair game, and the crate one seems to be the longest. The fact that they made a short segments and put them together in an actual film shows how great the style is. But if you count it here, Creepshow 2 only had 3 segments. It's not on par with the original. And I'll tell you why. Creepshow 2 was a sequel, and sequels are not as good as the original, as most people's eyes think, and even to my eyes as well. The fact that it only had 3 segments made it very short, and the fact that the parts were not so scary was another thing. The original, I would say, you stick with. The fact also is that they put a comic-like style together along with a cartoony atmosphere with a creepy look shows how good it was. It was off the wall, and it's a horror legend's dream to look at. I love Creepshow. And for somebody who likes horror movies and also looks like the spirit of Halloween, you definitely need to see this movie. Now, I'd rather skip to the last one. The last one is not that good. I'd rather just skip to the very end. But the rest, just do not skip. Look at those, and they're great. And the fact, too, half of these people kind of deserved it. And let's face it, some of them do the biggest cliches ever. Opening the door when really there is going to be something in the front of it. Turning their back when they know that somebody's going to be behind them. They're just asking for it. And the fact that it has legends in the business. You have George A. Romero, who created the zombie genre. You have Stephen King, who has wrote novels and has done miniseries in the past and has done both a fair job and also not a very good job, to doing the screenplay and the story and acting in there and one of the actual horror shorts. And also Julia Carpenter, the wife of John Carpenter, was in this movie as well. She plays a bratty bitch, which you would expect. A bratty bitch, getting drank, going over to the parties, and she got her ass handed to her too with that crate monster. But then you also got Tom Savini, who plays good acting stuff. He played like a normal guy who's just dumping garbage. But the rest of them, and even Leslie Nielsen with his comedy, was really, really good. I loved every single moment of him. He actually did scare me, and that's probably one of my most favorite ones, is the Tide one. The Tide one was actually pretty good. It was short, but it was really good. And it was very suspenseful, too. And then I get the makeup and special effects of Tom Savini. The guy is dubbed the King of Splatter for good reasons. He created this type of stuff. And to these people, like the MPAA, what are you thinking? This is great stuff. I think when the MPAA did not exist, this would have been like pure gold, and it was pure horror. Like literally, censorship, ratings, like come on people. We know better than this. If you don't want to watch the horror movie, don't watch it. You could just get out of the theater just like that. It's not they're not forcing you in there. They're not shutting the doors and locking them, you know? You can get out anytime you want. You know, you don't have to really see the horror movie. Or maybe you can just take a nap in the theater if you can. Simple as that. I digress, because Creepshow is a very, very special movie and place in my heart. And I highly recommend any theater out there to bring this movie into the theaters. No cuts, no deleted scenes, pure balls to the wall, everything about it, and let the modern age look at something so disturbing and great from the 80s. And that's the beginning of the 80s. This was 1982. So I really do enjoy this movie. It's a big recommendation for me, and it's disappointing because it's not on my computer, but I have the pictures. Google, you know, Google does the best stuff. There was also a making of video where they made Creepshow, and they show off the effects and stuff. So I highly recommend you find that on YouTube to see how it looks. But wait for tomorrow, because we're going to be looking at somebody who has both a Frankenstein agenda, a Richtofen laughter, and an SCP-049 personality. And it's going to be sweet.